So yeah, it's
Yarg.
a rocket launcher.
No, it's ARG.
No, it's a rocket launcher.
No, it's ARG.
It's
ARG is ARG.
ARG is a
Pirates
rocket launcher.
ARG.
No,
See if these are.
hold up.
Bobby?
Bobby, why are you in a beekeeping outfit?
I love bees.
Welcome to the Free Rotation podcast. I am one of your hosts. You can call me Becky, and I'm also here with Bobby.
Hi.
And I'm also here with Angie.
Hello.
And we're talking about pirates today. And we're talking about ARG.
No, Becky.
ARG.
No.
ARGs. ARG.
No.
Wait, why?
No.
If we're talking about pirates, can I get fucking scurvy and just die? Please.
ARG. Okay, no, we're not. We're talking about alternate reality gaming, which I have just been made privy of in the last couple of weeks. Or the alternative to the name alternate reality is augment reality. I learned that yesterday too, because I wait till the last minute to do my homework.
So, fun story about alternate reality games. Actually, I saw a name of it like a card store and shit. The whole thing. So, Augment might sound better because so like, hey, you're using our name without permission. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Listen, bitches, you can't steal something that's already called something else and copyright it anyways. Okay, somebody explain it who knows what they're talking about.
Okay, so the definition of an ARG is an interactive, networked narrative that uses the real world as a platform.
Ooh, that sounds smart.
It uses transmedia storytelling, and it's also pretty much created by players' ideas and actions. A good augmented reality game will change to suit, I guess, a level of IQ and creativity of the players.
Holy shit, that's way more detailed than my definition. Mine was like, ARGs are designed to involve fans of video games or other media in form of viral marketing.
My definition was ARG.
I like it.
You're going to go in a goddamn timeout. You keep doing this pirate shit
Okay.
with mittens in the fucking corner.
That's fine.
You know why it's was originally named augmented reality, though, is because the very first ARGs augmented reality, like the Blair Witch.
Yep.
Yeah, we actually talked about this a little bit, and some of the conversation today will also be about the mass marketing of alternate reality games for the promotion of things.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Yeah, but really, if you think about it, one of the first alternate reality quote-unquote games was the Blair Witch, because it was a found footage movie, and without the advent of the internet, they had to have something that was like, well, is this real?
Right.
Is this something true?
Yeah, it was. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's crazy because people legitimately thought it was real. Like, I was a kid. Blair Witch came out in 96, 97?
I think so.
I was a wee lad. I was a baby, so I really didn't know. I was still playing putt-putt and Freddy Fish on my dad's computer.
I thought it was real because I
Yeah.
lived outside of Blairsville, Maryland. I knew that there was rumors of a witch there. It's the Bell Witch, though. Yeah. But still, there were missing posters in Blairsville.
Yeah, it's
there was
crazy.
a whole backstory they gave these, and Sci-Fi Channel did a documentary.
Which became, in a sense, it was kind of an alternate reality. It created this sense that this thing had happened and that this was an actual, the footage of it.
But because people were unused to augmented reality games like this, they considered it, the movie was trying to force an urban legend on you.
Yeah.
So it kind of flopped in that regard.
Right.
But
then with the advent of the internet, hello.
Oh, yeah. Then we made a ton of fat cash, though. It was the highest grossing independent film until Paranormal Activity came out.
Which was also found footage.
Yes. Because it's so fucking dirt cheap to make that shit. Like, I think Paranormal Activity had like a $50,000 budget or something real fucking low.
Oh, yeah. I think it was even smaller than that.
Yeah, it was something real small.
Incredibly small. But going back further, I want you guys to think about it. Think about something that would have influenced.
Tron.
Well, yeah, but I mean like something we would do. Like
D&D?
D&D, LARPing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that wasn't that one of the definitions for the people who create the game called a puppet master? And that was essentially the same thing as a dungeon master almost?
Right. I mean, it's puppet masters, and they're incredibly influenced by LARPs. And there were a couple of groups that contributed to augmented reality, like your big engineering schools. Like UCLA had Enigma Group. MIT had the Assassin's Guild. There were Dead Earth Productions. That goes far back into the 80s. And then there's the White Wolf, Vampire Masquerade.
Yeah.
These are all augmented reality games because you literally play in society as your characters.
Yeah.
Think about it, Dragon Con, the LARPing that goes on in the...
Yeah, and the thing, but And I think there is a differential between like what we see today as LARPing and role-playing games and stuff like that. And I think that was a good difference because really with the Puppet Master versus the Dungeon Master kind of sets the narrative and the players kind of follow that narrative, whereas the Puppet Master kind of just sets out what can be done, and then it's up to the players to figure out what's happening and to unlock that.
You know what I know about LARPing? Fireball. that old video, that's what I know. I've never done it. I mean, it seems like fun, but it also seems like it hurt and probably mess up my hair.
Well, here in Georgia, we have one of the big kingdoms for Vampire the Masquerade in Griffin at the Griffin Immortal Theater. And it's interesting because there is a puppet master. There's a society that sits outside the game who runs the game. It makes sure that, because this is worldwide. And especially when there's a war between the states, different kingdoms. So here we have a lot of toreadors, like societies here. I see Bobby shaking his head like, what the fuck is she talking about?
Vampires and other vampires. So it's like the Twilight vampires versus like the classic Dracula vampires type
Pretty
of
much,
deal?
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
There's different factions. So
and they'll raid, and sometimes there are flat out wars declared, West Coast versus East Coast. And they'll come to Georgia and raid us. So you have to have people who are outside the game who make sure the rules are followed.
That's fair.
Yeah,
because you can wipe out a society because once your character in a LARP dies, unless it's one of the Malkavians or the vampires that hide in the crypts, and I can't think of their names off the top of my... Nosferatu, you're not coming back.
So wait, that fucking sucks. You spent all this time on a character and you just fucking died. You can make a new character, I guess?
Yeah,
but that's
my character
part of,
died.
Yeah, that's part of the political intrigue of Vampire the Masquerade is whether you can maneuver throughout the game.
Especially with toreadors, Malkavians can go either way. But it's politics. And then you'll get a king or a prince, they're called princes, who will... Princes, not princesses. Yeah. There's rarely a princess, but they'll invade each other. Because LARPing is augmented reality, and you have to stay in character. Just to go out of character, you go to the corner of the room. You have a specific badge you put on, and you're out of character.
Yeah, it's
and you can't participate in any way.
It's IRL ARGing.
So, Bobby,
I'm done. I'm gonna go home. Fuck this shit. No, I'm kidding.
So you guys know what the basis of an augmented reality game is? Like the principle behind it? What makes it immersive?
Just making it seem realistic, like something that could... Yes, it's fake, but it takes... and we'll talk about I Love Bees in a minute, but it makes it seem like it interacts with the real world, even though it's really just mass marketing. But I think that's a really interesting concept. And I get sucked in that shit real fucking quick because I just want to look into everything. Yeah. But it's a unique concept, and I'm kind of glad we discovered it because we get a bunch of cool content that we normally wouldn't get otherwise, with it. And
the reason the 9 Inch Nails ARG failed is because when you would call, and like the original ones, it would say this is a game, blah blah blah.
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
So you want to keep TNAG that this is not a game,
right?
So everybody knows it's a game, but you don't want to know it's a game.
Right. Yeah. Is it kind of almost the same effect now that escape rooms have kind of found popularity, where you're locked in a room and you've been kidnapped by a serial killer? You must puzzle out how to get out of this room or something like that.
Yeah, essentially.
Remember Jake was telling us the worst part of his experience, even though he enjoyed it, was I think he went one time and they had to have the moderator help them. Yeah. And he didn't want to be told where the key was.
Right.
Don't come over the speaker and give us hints.
And that's kind of what happened with 9 Inch Nails' thing, because it wasn't really a computer thing. It was more so you found a flash drive.
In the bathrooms, you would find thumb drives, and when you plugged it in, you would get a phone number or a snippet of a song, and you would begin to think, "Oh my gosh, I found their set list."
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
I listened to 9 Inch Nails. Pretty good. That's a little before my time.
And Captain Marvel, she wore a 9 Inch Nails shirt for a good bit of the movie.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it was nice.
Angie loves 9 Inch Nails.
Oh,
she's a big Trent Reznor fan.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be my baby daddy one day.
She's ever said if she ever went straight for somebody, it's going to be Trent Reznor.
That's fair.
I mean,
I'd go gay for Ryan Gosling, so I know you feel.
Everybody has their
Or Idris Elba.
Idris
Elba, he's chocolatey.
He was in... No, he wasn't. I'm getting my black people mixed up. Cut
wow,
that out, please.
Racist as fuck. Sorry, that was really loud.
But anyway, so really, I didn't realize that Halo 2 had such a mass marketing with alternate reality, which Bobby's still wearing his beekeeper outfit
Hey, this hat's comfortable. It makes my hair look nice.
But even before that, in 2001, so I Love Bees came out in 2004. 2001 was The Beast.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Beast? Everybody keeps talking about it.
Oh, go ahead. You can discuss
No,
it.
you go ahead, Bob.
Oh, it was a ARG that dealt with the release of AI, the Steven Spielberg / what the fuck's his name? He did 2001: Space Odyssey. The director, Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley
yeah.
Kubrick. He in part did some of the movie, then
With Will Smith.
croaked, and then Steven Spielberg stepped on, and you had little Sixth Sense boy in it. I can't remember his name because he doesn't really do anything anymore, which is fair.
Yeah.
But no, it was cool. I have a little bit on it. It's down here. It was entry points in the game. It was a promotion around the fictional Janine Sala and the death of her friend Evan in 2142. And it learns that he was murdered and uncovers a huge network / conspiracy of human and AIs and stuff. It was cool, and it was like
Yeah. No.
and it was like the clues of the game were distributed through trailers, print ads, posters, telephone
It
messages.
was hugely immersive.
Yeah, it was full. The movie had a fucking huge marketing budget. This is part of
Holy
it.
shit.
So, yeah, Evan is killed on a boat called the Cloudmaker, and he's killed by his love doll. And basically, it's a lot of the plot behind Detroit Become Human, because they wanted to be recognized as people. So it's basically their subversive way of trying to
Rise up.
rise up.
Rise up.
I thought the coolest bit of marketing they did with that was they used graffiti in public restrooms for it.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
For the good time call, they would
Yeah.
leave clues, and it was worldwide. So you would have the Cloudmakers. Remember I talked about the Cloudmakers last week? They formed a Yahoo group called Cloudmakers. And they would get together, and they used so many people had so many different skills. Like the last clue, you had to know how to read lutes. You had
Oh,
to be able to
shit.
Read
play
what?
Lutes. Like how to play a lute.
Oh.
Which really isn't an instrument ever played, so you had to be able to read
Yeah,
that
unless
music.
you are a bard in Dungeons and Dragons, and even then you don't know how to
You
play
needed
it.
rune readers, linguistics, mathematics, physicists, and what's notable about this very first, most popular one, is it equally was distributed between female and male and all age ranges. A lot of these, they tried to appeal more to the young men.
Yeah.
Especially I Love Bees was really more
Well, yeah,
towards,
because
like,
you're looking at
Bobby's
you're
age.
looking at the demographic of people who play Halo too. Like most of it is
But
younger
they
guys.
needed it was Halo, and it also were people who had played the Beast. So anyone who's played in ARGs was sent an email, and they were sent a bottle of honey, and that's how it brought them in. And of course, your Halo players had seen the trailer where it flashes at the I Love Bees website,
Yeah, instead of Xbox.
and that's how it brought the two of them together, which was so wonderful that it brought these two communities together.
I was
So the Cloudmakers were all over it.
Yeah.
I was this 04? I was in 6th grade, still a little too young to be. Well, not young. I wasn't internet savvy then. So I wasn't really involved, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wasn't really into video games at that point, so it was way out of my purview at that point what was going on. I do think I vaguely recall people in my high school who were super nerds. Sorry guys. Talking about I Love Bees and all of that, because it was at the earliest point they couldn't figure out how it had anything to do with Halo or anything like that. And then with Halo somehow recognizing it, because I think like at one point when you would go to the Xbox website, it would wouldn't it go to an ilovebees.com or something like that?
Yeah. But getting back to the Beast before we move on, the Beast was actually called the game. So,
we all
You
lost.
lost.
So when you hear you just lost the game, this is where that comes from. So it's not just you just lost the game. It came from here because this was called the game, but the programmers changed it to the Beast because when they finished, it had 666 files.
Nice.
So they
Shit.
changed the name to the Beast.
That's so funny. I
Yeah.
get it now. Because I was like, what does that have to do with anything to do with artificial intelligence and falling in love with a sex doll or something? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, some of them were beastly.
Well, that's
Yeah,
true.
it was scary. And another notable thing about ARGs is they tend to run around 3 months.
Yeah.
That's why we thought it was so strange with Cicada 3301, how we probably couldn't be just an alternate reality game, because it's been going on for God knows how long at this point.
Too long,
Yeah.
some would say.
Yeah.
So I Love Beast came out in 2004, and most of the developers, writers, and producers from The Beast are the ones who worked on I Love Bees.
Oh.
Yeah. And then they all worked on the Audi thing too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, a lot of them did. And then so it was a hidden message in the Halo 2 trailer, and we talked about people receiving the jars of honey. And when they'd open the honey jar, it didn't have honey in it. It had a message with the I Love Bees website. And when you first logged onto the website, it was beekeeping tips and tricks. Then it would flash, and you realize, oh, it's a hacked website, and it would give clues. So, do you know the story behind it, Bobs?
It was like a whole AI that had been like fell to Earth and was trying to rebuild itself and everything. It was like a Covenant AI, I think, or similar to Cortana. I really don't.
No,
remember.
it was similar to Cortana. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. I think it was like Melissa.
I think it was Melissa.
Yeah, and Melissa was trying to build herself because she had fallen from the Halo, and the Covenant was trying to infiltrate her. So they were stealing her memories. So as she tried to piece her memories together, they were changing what she remembered. So at the end of I Love Bees, she gives up and she leaves, and that's when the Covenant invades Earth.
Oh, like right at the Halo 2 drop?
Right. Yep. So
Holy
the ARG
shit.
ends, Halo 2 drops with the invasion.
Oh, shit. That's actually
It was
awesome.
pretty cool.
That's pretty baller. I just couldn't figure it out with the bees. I mean, I was reading about the I Love Bees, but it's one of those things where unless you really can follow the storyline of what's going on, it was so random. And a lot of people didn't realize it was part of Halo because they just got these jars of honey and they're like, I love bees. What does this have to do with anything?
Well, those were sent to the ARG players. Yeah. So Halo players didn't receive those jars of honey.
Yeah.
I'd be fucking disappointed. Oh, I got a jar of honey. What the fuck is this shit? I want my honey.
Bobby's big problem would be the fact he didn't get honey.
I'd be pissed off. Like, I want my goddamn honey.
Free honey from some random person who mailed it in the mail. It clearly has no anthrax.
I'd eat it.
No, it's fine. It was like 3 years after 9/11. Everything's fine.
Oh, because right after that was the anthrax being
yes.
in the mail. So what's so worried about?
Not so biggie.
I'm just hoping it was cocaine instead of actually anthrax.
You're like, can I snort this? And I'm dead.
Yes.
But yeah, it was interesting because it was about beekeeping, and there was the woman Melissa giving you tips and tricks to take care of bees. But encoded in those tips and tricks were also clues.
I like to also think that the dual benefit of this was that, you know, the honeybee population is declining throughout the years, and this was a way for people to realize that it's important to save our honeybees.
Yeah, that didn't help 15 fucking years later, now did it? Christ, people are dumb as shit.
Listen, you're appealing to people whose attention deficit probably kicks in really fast playing video games for long periods of time. I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, what was really good here was, since it combined Halo fans with ARG fans, and they had to work together because you had Halo fans who knew the history and the lore of Halo who could help with certain clues, and then you had the cloud makers and the other ARG fans who could what's that where you
work on puzzles? We'll just say puzzle it out.
solve puzzles.
Something like
and
that?
just stuff like they could actually get to, so they used them for that. But you brought people into different fandoms.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we all want to do. We want to bring people into the different fandoms.
Fuck no, keep the League players out of my fandoms.
Shut up.
No, y'all are fine. A lot of them aren't reasonable human
Kale
beings.
got reworked, so shut up.
I know, I heard her. Oh, that's stupid as shit now.
She looks awesome, and she's so fast, like way faster.
God bless.
I mean, she was horribly fast before, but now it's like she perpetually keeps her.
Apparently, if
flamey.
she hits level 16, she's pretty much unbeatable.
Ooh, I might start playing again.
Oh, Riot making an OP character.
She's super weak at the beginning of the game, though. Like, that's the way it pays off, is that she has a really high... Never mind, this is not important.
True, we can talk about this later. Sorry. Excuse us, listeners.
So in 2005, right after the I Love Bees, we had the Art of the Heist, which is probably my favorite.
What is it?
It was a promotion for an Audi A3.
Oh, wait. Were you heisting the Audi?
No, so during the commercials, they're showing the Audi, and as you're watching it, you see like somebody throw a bunch of stolen art and stuff. So that's why it's called the Art of the Heist, because they've broken into this museum and all these things. They're art thieves. They throw them in the Audis and they steal the Audis. So you're looking for the Audis because to find the art, you have to find the Audis.
Oh.
So they're
the Audi joke
retrievers.
now.
So once you solve clues about where the Audis are, you send retrievers to go and get the clue out. And retrievers were basically NPCs. They were the gamekeepers, but they would be sent to retrieve it for you.
Holy shit, that's cool.
And they would bring out a clue. So it was Nisha Roberts and Ian Yarborough. They're in the retrieval business. And then they have Virgil, who creates games. And you go the whole Art of the Heist thinking Virgil's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because he plays video games and he's older and lives in his mom's basement. Like, literally, that's him. So you think he's the bad guy. But it turns out it's a bad conspiracy secret society called ArcLight.
I love that shit.
And it looks like I said they stashed elves in Audis. So I don't know exactly what ArcLight is. Doesn't that look like I said
it's
elves?
It's a leaf skin now.
But then that looked like I wrote stashed elves.
Where'd you put it?
They stashed elves, Bobby. So it was
good.
very...
Fuck that Keebler guy. That piece
confusing.
of shit gave me diabetes.
Do's and outies? Clues and outies.
Oh, okay.
God bless, we fucking did it.
But that was the real...
It does look like elves, though, doesn't it?
The real ARG is deciphering Angie's handwriting.
So this one was a lot of fun to play.
Did you ever play it?
I did, actually, look into the Art of the Heist.
I was still a fucking baby back then, so no.
Mm-hmm.
I
Bobby doesn't actually become a player in the game until 2009.
No, I was still in high school then. I mean, I'm like half an adult, but also super.
But these
awkward
commercials were on the internet, and they also ran on primetime TV.
Right.
Like, this was a really, really cool thing.
I guess you could kind of chalk it up to the things that are like, keep a lookout for blah, blah, blah. Like, it would pop up at the end of these commercials, or it's like, you want to be one of the blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like a giveaway almost.
Well, kind of like we just saw at the Captain Marvel, there was... Oh, you had left to get popcorn, but there was a Turkish Airlines commercial, but it had a movie, and it's like, to watch the movie, go to Turkish Airlines and watch the movie, and it was called like The Chase or something.
Yeah, everyone does that shit now. I don't even follow along with it.
Yeah,
it's just too much.
But there were used to be, and I think this was one of the first where the commercials would tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
So you would always look forward to these commercials.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to sit and watch a commercial, but when the Audi commercials came on, gotta go see what.
I take
what
that back.
doing?
There was one. It was either, I think it's for Cheetos or something, like where. Yeah, it was Cheetos because Cheshire got kidnapped or something, and I watched those commercials.
Yeah,
because I was jacked up for that shit.
You had to find out what was going to happen next.
Yeah, I watched that shit because there was like multiple parts. That was the one thing, like in terms of those that. Because that was an ARG. I think there was like stuff you could do online. I never did the online stuff. I just like watched the commercials.
Well, a lot of those like
so cool.
a lot of those like kid friendly promotions, they would tell you like go online to blah blah blah, and it would have little mini games to like solve puzzles, and it was kind of a mini ARG for kids. I mean,
buy our over sugared products.
Yeah, high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah,
get the diabetes.
I want some Cheetos now with some chopsticks because I'm a fancy lady.
What the fuck?
You don't get your Cheeto dust if you have them in chopstick.
Yeah, but then you don't get to lick the Cheeto dust off your fingers.
Thank you.
Or
That's
have
what
your
I
significant
said.
other do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a gamer, you got to be like fancy and eat your Cheetos with
Are you
chopsticks.
fucking kidding me? Gamers have neck beards and shit.
Shut up.
I love
shaved
them.
my neck beard today, Bobby. Okay, I don't want to hear you.
I have probably more
He
facial hair than
doesn't
you
know
do.
what to say. He's like, you jump it.
I'm like, I don't know how to respond. I need an adult.
He was like, you know. I saw his head like exploding. Why?
No, I say the random shit. You stay the fuck out of this.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane, girl.
Stay in your lane.
Keep your pirates and your little Asian girls, and I'll keep out of those.
Arg. Speaking of little Asian girls, I just want to make the argument that I think Doki Doki Literature Club can also be considered an alternate reality game.
Yeah, oh no, yeah. So, yeah, you want to talk about that one and something else?
I don't remember the other stuff.
Maybe like Welcome to the Game.
Oh, Welcome to the Game is...
Sad Satan.
Oh, you wanted to talk a little bit about... Did we talk about Sad Satan last week?
We briefly touched on it.
Yeah, okay. So, just to hit on Doki Doki, because I talked about it a little bit last week, but to expand on it, is if you've never played this game, which why are you even... If you listen to this podcast, how you haven't played this game, I don't know, or watch anybody play it, it's essentially what's
visual novel?
A visual novel, yeah. And it plays kind of like those visual novels you see online where it's like you're supposed to romance the NPCs through the game and you can end up with people and you make poems because you're in the literature club with these 4 girls and you can end up with... So what essentially happens is for like the first 3 hours, which Angie, of course, I watched her play this and she was like, why are you making me play this? You spend like 3 hours making poems for these girls to kind of romance them. About halfway to starting into the second act, suddenly your best friend ends up coming to you, and she's kind of jealous, and that's kind of how it's supposed to play out. Is your best friend's jealous because you might be with somebody else, or however you end up with her. And it suddenly cuts, and she's committed suicide. And then the game goes balls to the wall. The girls are killing themselves. One girl you could romance starts stabbing the shit out of herself. You find out that another girl is like abused by her father. And as the game keeps playing, you start to find out that Monica, who is the president of the literature club, has become a sentient AI and realizes that she is part of this game. And she is lonely and wants you as the player, and she realizes all of this, you as the player to be with her. So she starts hacking into their files to make them depressed. As you go through the game, like weird glitches start happening. Their character files start to get deleted. Even at one point toward the end of the game, where you've kind of deleted the game trying to get away from Monica, she sits there and she's like, and you're streaming the game. She's like, oh, I see that there's other people watching me right now. How rude of you not to tell me that people are also watching. And then suddenly her face flashes all freaky as shit. It is the craziest thing. And I think there's a theory that it's like a prequel to another game that's coming out that might be an alternate reality game.
And because she changes your memory of your computer. She inserts herself. You have to
like
give it permission to, but
yeah.
And when I would pull up Steam and play another game, Monica sometimes pops up and says, "Are you never going to visit me again?" I haven't pulled up Doki Doki.
Yeah, if you pull up Doki Doki and you haven't like fully completed the game out, she'll be like, "Oh, you left me for so long. Welcome back, blah, 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 blah." And if you go and delete her file, she's like, "You're hurting me. Stop doing that. You're hurting me."
Yeah, you can't delete. You can't.
Why
get
are
rid
you
of her.
deleting my file? And then
you think you've deleted it, and then you're like, "Okay, I got the game off my computer." She pops up. She's like, "I'm still here."
Well, it's even then, like for spoilers, your best friend, Monica will restart the game for you when she realizes what she's doing, and it turns out then your best friend, and it's been a while since I've watch the game, but it turns out that she is now the president of the literature club. Then after that, at that point though, she starts to realize she's also a sentient AI and realizes all that shit. So then Monica comes back in and she's like, "You might have deleted me, but this isn't happening anymore," and completely deletes the game off of your computer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
because she wants to be your own.
So you're telling me there's no titties in this game?
No, there are.
they're like big titties, yeah.
No, there's no there's
no revealed titties.
Oh, that's fucking. That's only reason to play visual novels.
But you make out with the goth girl if she was your love interest, like she was mine.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it plays like a
pulls
visual.
you into the closet to have sex with you because she becomes a nympho.
Nice.
I don't think she actually pulls you into the closet to have sex with you, but she starts saying some weird ass shit like "fuck me in the pussy" and shit like that.
Nice.
Like it'll be like, and then she becomes all stalkeress, and she's like, what if she's like, "I'm gonna shove it in my vagina" or something like. It gets fucking crazy.
I could tell.
But yeah, and
whereas in before they were like the best of their different types of women, and now the worst of those.
Monica
types.
corrupts them into becoming these like crazy people. It was pretty intense, but. Doki Doki is definitely one of those.
And then they
say,
somehow end up killing themselves, or getting themselves killed trying to kill you. They just die horrifically.
Yeah,
because she's killing the other AIs off.
It's a whole thing.
Because they're starting to realize that they're not. They're like, this is so unlike me.
Yeah, it's crazy. Play the game.
But
it's like $5 on Steam.
It's just it comes into your real life and it pops up, and you don't pull the game up, and she'll put like little notepads and stuff with messages on it in your desktop, and you'll open and you can't get rid of them, and it's her.
I'll tell her, "Hey, girl, show me them A cups, and then maybe I'll play with you." Because I'm a monster.
All right, cool. Anyways.
Sorry, I was taking a sip of water out. My throat's dry from cigarettes. Guess they're the worst. Don't smoke
And anime
kids.
girls.
No, that's not dry. I'm thirsty because of that. Ha ha. Funny. So, what was what's the new game that's coming out for it? Curious.
I don't know. There's an entire series done by, I can't remember their names, but it's on the Internet Historians, but it's a YouTube series, and they go through what it is, and then they explain why they think in the game. So if you watch this YouTube series, I wish I could credit them, but I can't remember what it was. There are actually hidden codes throughout Doki Doki Literature Club that hints to this other game. So you can solve these codes, and it comes up saying like with letters and stuff like that. It's also a puzzle, like kind of like an ARG, and it's a hint to what the company who did Doki Doki, their next game might be. And in the game, allegedly what it is that Monica is going to probably be the protagonist of the game, but it also hints to experiments that were being done to people, and experiments that might have been done to the player or the NPCs in Doki Doki.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like this extensive thing that players who played Doki Doki were able to like extract this information from the computer files and what was being said and coded out in the
Fucking
the poems.
nerds.
It's crazy. Like I would say, you could probably put in Doki Doki Literature Club and it'll be one of the first videos to pop up. So definitely check that out because it was extensive. I've watched it a couple of times and I'm still confused as to how it's going to happen, but
Well, let's watch it together so I can
we
understand
can
it.
all watch it together.
And I'll give above the pants handies.
To yourself.
Yes. So one of the latest ARGs that I've been following, and I've heard it like on the No Sleep podcast and the Truly Scary podcast, and a couple of other horror podcasts. It's advertised as called the Honey Killer. It's a box that gets delivered monthly. So a serial killer delivers a box to your doorstep.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and there's clues, and each month gives you additional clues to help you solve this. You can go online and discuss it with other people.
Hey, Honey Killer, if you want to sponsor us, I don't have a problem with that. We love ARGs.
That's pretty cool that they've taken this ARG and decided to make this. Because the other, like, the Loot Fright boxes and the other ones, they're just merchandise that they send you. But this one is, like, clues. It's like a murder mystery every month.
Yeah, it's supposed to help you solve the serial killer.
Is it like a new one every year or something like that? Or is it
every month. It's a monthly subscription. Oh, you mean like a new...
Yeah.
Or maybe every 6 months. I'm not sure because I haven't subscribed, and they don't really give a lot of details away. Probably, because they want to, I don't know, keep the community closed or whatever. But I was thinking about doing it.
Well, there was one very popular ARG that came out about a couple years ago that's still pretty popular. Pokemon Go.
Oh, that's true.
Pokemon Go is technically an augmented reality game. That is what it's supposed to be.
Because you turn your camera on and there's Pokemon
Fuck
everywhere.
that shit.
I know. Who keeps their camera on anymore, by the way? I don't. It runs my battery out.
Well,
Yeah.
and now there's Pokemon you can catch, though, with Snapchat. And it's not a Snapchat filter. It's just if you have Pokemon Go on, with your location services and you turn on Snapchat and snap a picture of a Pokemon, like on your thing, he'll pop up and you can catch him.
Oh, can I do that for a fucking Ditto, please? I have.
I've been looking for Ditto forever.
It's a nightmare.
I've saved all the Dittos I've caught just the last 2 weeks. There's probably 11.
The thing is, I have to catch it. I cannot trade for it. I have to
know.
fucking
But
catch
she just
it.
wants to
I just
brag
wanna
that she's
show
catching all
you.
the Dittos.
Mine are all bigger than y'all's, so fuck you. My Pokemon are massive.
Huge.
Like my penis.
I mean, that's initially what it was supposed to be. And then there's also a Jurassic Park version.
Really?
That's
kinda cool.
augmented reality as well. You can
What?
catch or hatch Jurassic Park dinosaurs or something like that.
Can we fight them? Can they fight?
Yeah, they fight. Yeah, you can
Let
like
them
fight.
fight.
It's like Pokemon Go with Jurassic Park.
Cool.
So I saw.
Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you.
I'm done.
You.
No, I'm done.
No.
No, you girl.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I just had a thought, and like it hit me like a train. So think about this. Do you guys think this is an ARG? You know those that haunted house in Tennessee we watched that thing on?
Yeah.
The like 6 scary days or something?
Yeah.
Where he goes and he can do anything he wants to you and you can't stop it
Oh!
it takes away that this is not a game.
Kind of. Yeah.
I didn't do that, so I don't fucking know.
Oh, I'm not doing it. Not
No,
after
yeah.
watching that thing. It's a Netflix thing and he goes to like the 7 days in hell or
It's like different places throughout the world, like it's a dangerous, or like I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but it's called McKay's Manor, and the guy like semi tortures you. You kind of sign out of it, and it's like all the things that can be done to you, like waterboarding,
and you have to sign that if you
Why
die,
the fuck would you do
the
this?
extreme people,
and you do sign that if you get killed. Because it's a survival horror. There are lots of survival horror games where you pay to be taken to an island and think about the TV show Naked and Afraid.
Yeah.
I mean, and Survivor, aren't those just ARGs?
Essentially.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or
I mean,
simulations, in a way.
simulations. I don't want to live in this simulation anymore.
But they're a game that you win or lose, and it is augmented reality because you're being put in a situation that you wouldn't normally be put
Right.
in.
We're forgetting about one big one, though, guys.
What's that?
The Michael Douglas movie, The Game.
Oh,
Was that an ARG for real?
No, well, the movie is...
that's right.
Ain't an ARG.
It
Yeah,
was,
they say his
he
brother...
had to play a game.
Yeah, he had to play like a life game, like shit, life gets fucked up, his brother signs him up for it, it's a whole thing.
It's like the Hunger Games.
Oh no, it's like game night.
It's more like
Oh,
game night. It's more like
yeah.
game night in a way. Then,
Such a good movie. Watch it.
I haven't watched it.
It's really funny.
Really, Bobs?
I'm not super into comedies. Like, last comedy I watched that was new was Tag, and it was I'll watch it because Hannibal Buress is in it, and he's funny.
Bobby lives in the pain.
Drew, I'm
just
constantly
love
depressed.
him.
Why do you think I smoke and drink all the time?
Oh, that's why he's got the goth eyeliner on. And
Yeah,
he looks
under
like
his
the crow.
beekeeper accent.
Yeah,
Cut my life in
Outfit.
2 pieces.
he's all sepia toned over there.
with the rain and song
little
thing from
cloud.
Instagram.
Constantly just upset. That's fine.
But yeah, I think people talk about how you can make alternate reality games and how it's it's
We
very
ran one at the cabin.
yeah. Well,
I
it's
ran
like
it.
a murder mystery party. I guess I
Oh,
could.
nice. Who got murdered?
It was an NPC.
Oh, lame.
And then
Well, there weren't a lot of people we needed.
we
Yeah.
needed everybody
People.
for them, every
Fair.
man for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And woman. And non-conforming gender
Because
types.
let me tell
Oh.
you, Rachel was fantastic.
Oh
She
yeah,
won that game.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
And it was so like the clues were good, but the police had to figure it out. It was Jake and Scoob and Drew.
They killed him?
No,
No,
they
that
were
were
the
the cops.
police,
Oh.
so they had to solve it. And guess what? It was Scoob, Jake, and Drew. They
So-
did not solve it.
Clearly not.
Scoob gets to the conclusion that it is Rachel, and as the cops are over there, Scoob is like, I really feel it was Rachel, but Jake is a police chief, so he goes, nope. He was like, I believe it was Scoob was the bad guy the whole time.
Because Scoob was being he was doing shady shit.
The
Yeah.
look on Scoob's face was priceless.
The thing is, like, this is a murder mystery. Scoob is like, let's plant drugs on them to see if they react.
And then
It's like, what?
Drew overhears, like, Rachel knew Drew was there, so she said some, like, misleading shit to Scoob. Knowing Drew was listening, Scoob didn't know, so he's, like, trying to make Rachel think he's on her side so he can get the goods to accuse her and have proof against her. Well, Drew comes back and tells Jake, I just heard Scoob and Rachel plotting, and I think Scoob is the one who did it, and he's trying to get Rachel to take the fall. And as the game master, I'm sitting there like,
Y'all dumb as fuck.
this is fantastic.
This is all I ever wanted. And the rest of us are sitting in the cabin because the rest of us are like the suspects. While they're trying to figure it out, they're standing outside, and the poor child is just like, yeah, it's Chris and Rachel. Yeah, it's Chris and Rachel. It's clearly Chris and Rachel. How they're not figuring this out, blah, blah. And then they come out, and it's like, Angie was like whispered to me, she's like, just watch this shit.
I'm like, this
She's
is gonna be good.
It's Scoob!
Because I'd gone in and asked, like, so every person who had been at the dinner party, I'd given them their backstory, and they all had a reason for people to think they did it. So it was up to the cops to go through and sort through all the backstories, and each person had an accusation they could make against someone else at a certain time when the criteria was met that the cops did it. So when you get down to it, honestly, the most suspicious one who couldn't ever explain herself was Jake's girlfriend.
Yeah, Becca.
Becca. The one
She's
who
dead
never
now.
could the one who could never explain herself was Becca. And like they were Moreland like truly thought it was Becca, and I think you kind of considered
I
Becca.
thought about it, but then Rachel and Chris were too like shady for me to like suss out. I mean,
So Chris had done it, and Rachel was helping him cover it up.
Oh, you can't trust pale gingers. I'll tell
No.
you.
and he was
what.
playing
And
a gay guy. It was
honestly,
hilarious.
That's
Chris
also
did
funny
a
as fuck.
fantastic job of not making himself look innocent, but answering the questions.
Yeah.
Like it was so obvious.
It was obvious in the sense that if Angie wasn't playing the like it's clearly an easier game to like you should be able to solve it. You would probably be like, oh, this is clearly the red herring.
Yeah.
If it hadn't have been a thunderstorm, we would have used more props outside, planted more
Oh.
stuff. But unfortunately, it was a
And-
really bad thunderstorm.
Yeah,
that
but
night.
Scoop ended up like saying he's just gonna commit
Because
Sudoku.
he would come up to Jake and he'd be like, I'm going to plant drugs on him. And Jake's like, that's something a bad cop would say. And so Drew and Jake were like, yeah, Scoob's a bad guy.
That's funny.
It was
And
so
Rachel's like,
stupid.
because they knew Rachel was helping. But to get Rachel, they had to get the killer.
So clearly Scoop
So
ended up
Jake
being the
was like,
killer.
it's Scoob. And Scoob's like, I'm just going to take my service weapon out and kill myself. I don't want to be here anymore.
That's
Wasn't the
actually
look on
funny.
his face
His
priceless?
face was priceless. He's like standing in the corner of the cabin looking
'Cause
at
he's
Jake like, you motherfucker.
He was like, yep, it's either Chris and Rachel or Beck and Rachel. And he's like, I'm going with Chris. And Jake says, Scoob. And he's like, huh?
Huh?
What?
But
That's funny as shit.
I love shit like that. But yeah,
That was good.
that was a good one.
Yeah. So if you want to play augmented reality, like get your friends together, rent a cabin or some sort of overnight weekend thing and play a game.
Yeah.
Like you just have somebody be a game master.
It's like RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yep.
Hey, Becky,
What?
do you want to play a game?
No. Hey guys.
Oh, wait, that's a good. Saw was just an ARG. He was just playing ARG.
It just one that ended your life.
Right?
I
You
didn't
had the
agree to
decision to
this.
make. You can
Yeah.
either live or die. That's really all you can decide.
Hey, Becky, where can they find us?
Hey guys, you can find us at Facebook at the
And on
TheFreeRotation
Spotify, right, Becky?
Podcast. You can find
Yeah.
us on Twitter at TheFreeRotation. You can find us on YouTube and
Switcher.
Twitch at TheFreeRotation. We're also on
Did you
Instagram
say
at
Twitcher?
TheFreeRotation.
Switcher.
Oh.
Podcast.
That's how
You can watch us on Spotify or what? Watch us. What?
Watch us?
You can. Never mind. I'm done.
You can tweet us on Spotify.
You can tweet us on Spotify and watch us on Twitter.
We also have our own website called
It's
TheFreeRotationPodcast.com.
It's TheFreeRotation.com. Get it right. We had the Free Rotation podcast at one point, but the person who was hired to do it never did it. So it's TheFreeRotation.com. Also, hey guys, if you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch subscription a month. Feel free to use it on us. It is $5. That is free. You can throw it at us. If you're not using it for anybody else, you get some cool emotes. You get to watch us do some bullshit. And I got a new graphics card, so I have no excuse to suck at like FPS games, but I still do suck at them. So feel free to watch me suck at some more games.
Help her get good.
And we also affiliates of the podcast network Weeby Geeks. You can check all the great podcasts over at WeebyGeeksPC.com. That's it.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
But wait, there's more.
Let my chest hair out a little bit. So
That's
everyone-
the outro right there.
Just leave it going.